event. Honestly, Justice League, obviously, by now we know quite a bit about Riser. Ascension, not as much. We have covered them before, though, and you were even mentioning you actually got the chance to see them scrim. Looking pretty good. So you expecting a good match here, Riser?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think it's two European teams that kind of created something out of nothing, which is not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Just they're solid competitors and they know what they're doing for sure. DCX has definitely proven themselves, as we've seen them in tournaments, playing quite well, very adapted to the metagame and what have you, and Ascension as well. I've seen them. I believe they were scrimming SG
Yeah.
and having some, solid results for sure. So I expect a good match for sure.
Hopefully, especially with it only being a one-game series, let's hope that it is a pretty good match here. Anyways, the game has already started. They're already in the locking phase. In fact, past that, we got to jump in. So let's jump in, ladies and gentlemen. Coming at you, we got Ascension taking on Justice League. Ascension tagged up 5B. Not sure what the deal was with that. In fact, let me actually check their Raging Balls. Okay, that's their actual
Raging
in-game
Balls.
clan. Raging Balls.
Huh.
A little more classy than Ascension, so I wonder why they didn't actually sign up by that name. I don't know. Anyways,
I like Raging Balls.
Raging Balls, nice. So we got over here again. You see some of their names. Again, I believe we cast them before. Maybe it was the Ultimate Series or whatnot. Definitely a decent team as we're talking about. But Justice League, and you actually brought up a good point. How I guess both of these teams, you could say, kind of came out of nowhere. You know, they didn't have these big star power names that was like right away, oh, we know these guys, we expect these guys to do well. DCX, I mean, they do have player Buch. Obviously, he's been around the scene for a while. But outside of him, these are definitely names that have definitely made names for themselves, really, as a result of later on in Han Tour with just their performance and persevering within it. So you got to respect that when it comes down to making a name for yourself on the Han scene.
Yeah, you definitely do. It's not that easy. I'm sure a lot of people who are struggling or would like to get a competitive scene can tell you it's not the easiest thing. I myself got pretty lucky. I kind of had an inside.
You had it easy.
Kind of an inside source, and even though I was pretty bad, eventually I learned what was going on. So that helped a lot for me. But for people who are not so fortunate, it's no simple task to suddenly be competitive worthy, respected as
Yeah.
well. And yeah, it is worth mentioning that they've come quite far for themselves.
Yeah, and you got to think that hopefully Ascension over here, they'll definitely stick to it. Obviously, going into Hunter Season 2, see what they're going to bring to the table. I'm sure they're in the qualifiers. I think Justice League might have got invited, actually. I'd have to double check that. Anyways, I'm sure both these teams are going to be in Hunter Season 2. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. We are moving along, though. Let's get into the game itself. The blind band stage, we had Keeper of the Forest, Ophelia, and Parasite. So very jungle heavy as it tends to be. Ophelia obviously overlapping right there. And as a result of that, you got Tempest being first locked. Surprise, surprise. Rally, Deadwood, a follow, Lodestone, Magnus, and then Pebbles actually to finish things off. And we just finished the banning phase. You had Predator, Fade, Pharaoh, Moraxis, Master of Arms, and Engineer. So there's your first pick, Torture Riser. Not a whole lot of curveballs coming at us, Riser.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, the first lock Tempest, obviously you said, makes sense. He is the preferred jungle hero, as I was talking about yesterday. He's probably the best, just because of his utility throughout the entire game. It's very important that even those levels 1 through 6, he can remain active if he chooses to. Torture coming out as the first pick. I honestly think Torture and Pyromancer are kind of the premier support heroes these days, except for maybe Engineer as well.
Yeah.
Just those powerful supports that can win you that middle lane, just almost by themselves. Just the amount of nukes and damage they can put out is very impressive. So no surprise seeing Torturer here, and we do have almost all the melee initiator heroes that are popular locked up in this pool. So both teams, excuse me, will be getting at least one of those, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. You look at Rally, Deadwood, Magnus, and Pebbles. Those four right there. And even Lowstone, too. I mean, Lowstone could definitely be classified as that. Obviously, he plays more of that suicide role. I guess kind of like a Magnus as well. But, yeah, no doubt a very, very powerful lock pull. It's going to be interesting, though, to see who gets the jungler, being that Tempest, of course. And if you're DCX here, if you think they're going to first pick that Tempest, do you choose to, how do you choose to play? How would you choose to play it if you're DCX here? Would you try to go maybe for like a War Beast jungle yourself, or are you looking to play aggressive lanes, or what?
Well, it comes down to their playstyle as well. You do see different teams with different strategies involved, but yeah, I would go under the assumption that they will be first picking that Tempest. So maybe you could do some drafting strategy to try and kind of pigeonhole them into having weak lanes because they are so dead set on this Tempest. Maybe they could force a Tempest suicide. Maybe they could pick up some of the more notable suicides in the lock pool. I'm not really sure if there are really a whole lot left, but that could be a pretty viable strategy.
Hmm.
Forcing them to send that Tempest long lane if there are no suicide heroes available left to them. But yeah, other than that, just definitely pick up your support heroes. There are none in the lock pool, and then if you either want to go for, it's probably going to be also a second support hero as well, considering all the junglers are banned except for that Tempest.
Yeah. Well, there's Wild Soul on the board. Yeah, the good old Wild Soul jungle. Good
Yeah, as long as you
that.
don't drop your Midas, you do
Ah.
okay.
Shout out to Hanskin. Nymph4 Draconis. Now that's actually quite the combination of heroes right there. Draconis especially. It seems like he rarely is seen nowadays on the competitive scene. I mean, I still think it's safe to say he's still one of the best farmers in the game, but he just hasn't been picked up as of late, it seems like.
Yeah, these are some pretty greedy picks from DCX. When I say greedy, I mean Nymphora, early game, probably one of the weakest premier support heroes in the laning stage. Draconis, I mean, you can argue that 1v1 he's pretty strong, but if you do choose to maybe do like an aggressive tri-lane against these heroes, they could fall victim to the early aggression, but we'll have to see what Raging Balls, as I'm now going to refer to them, chooses to do. But yeah, Plague Rider coming up from DCX, another hero we don't see too often, usually in that suicide role. So we'll have to see if that's a second support, which I think it's going to be, or a suicide.
Yeah, it's again that goes back to the lack of jungle options now pending if that Tempest is first picked here. I mean, if I'm gonna go with
Yeah, they're thinking about it.
If Raging Balls over here decides not to go Tempest, then I could definitely see DCX going that Tempest themselves, of course. So they're thinking about it for sure. I mean, they got 30 seconds still of extra time, so no reason to not use that really.
I'm pretty sure they can afford to pick Tempest here. I don't think they're gonna be screwed if they do opt for Tempest. But okay, Rally picked up here. Yeah, I guess I expect D6 to grab Tempest now, but who knows? I expected the Legion to pick Tempest as well. So Rally going to pick up. He can be played as that Suicide or that mid hero. Maybe they just wanted a more powerful mid hero. Maybe they weren't comfortable with, like, say, like a Torture or Luna Lane middle. It is a little awkward. Usually we do see the melee stunner and the support coming out, but Lodestone picked up by DCX, and then Pebbles. So nobody's gonna pick Tempest, or maybe they'll pick it here.
Staying away from the Tempest. What's going on, Riser? I mean, what?
I know that first lock, I was like, okay, they're happy. They're gonna get Tempest, the only jungler, the best one too.
It's like he's plagued or something. I mean, neither team wants to touch him here. Apparently, we'll see if our Legion side decides to end up with him. But yeah, I'm a little shocked by that from DCX especially. I mean, the lanes would have made sense. They definitely had the makings of you got your Plague Rider Suicide, you got your Tempest jungle, you had something like a Pebbles Nymphora mid, and then Draconis top. I mean, it made sense, but neither team. Magnus is the final pick, so.
I think this is going to be a second support Lodestone. Just looking at DCX and how their lineup, how their heroes are situated on their heroes, or excuse me, their heroes are situated on their players.
Yeah.
Leads me to believe this is going to be like a, oh, okay, maybe not. St. Rox did just swap Zane, and Zane is their suicide player. So maybe we're going to see a Plague Rider second support laning with Lodestone, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting, so we'll see. I could have seen like a Lodestone Pebbles Nymphora tri-lane.
Yeah.
Lodestone. If you think about it, he doesn't need that many items. He's kind of like a Magnus. As long as he has a portal key, I feel like he can definitely do work.
Oh yeah, I mean any hero that plays that suicide role, I mean, goes without saying. You don't need necessarily the big impactful items on him, as far as the good farm really. As you said, really just the portal key is that key. So go figure. But yeah, so I definitely, you even saw in chat right there, both teams basically saying we don't want Tempest. I don't know why really, but neither one of us want Tempest. So look at this, how DCX is shaping up. I mean, Draconis and Nymphora are laning like they're gonna go bottom. I'm guessing Plague Rider is just simply gonna deny for them right away. But
it would appear so. Maybe some of their players are a little not sure what the hell's going on. Yeah. they seem a little lost. Usually you see the 5-man train immediately, or just everyone goes to their lanes and kind of sits.
Yeah.
But judging by where they are placed right now, you don't really know what's going on. But Like I said, the train at the Legion Ancients, of course. And just received reports that YOLO Ludwig is actually Zai's YOLO doppelganger. That's
Yeah.
Zai, but he's YOLO.
Okay.
So,
That makes things a little more interesting.
yeah.
He's playing the Magnus here. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't actually put it past that. I want to say I've actually seen that before, and that actually stands out now that you say that. I knew I recognized the name. Okay. That probably is. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, this team definitely just got even a little bit better when you think about it as far as the players playing for it. And I don't know if he necessarily wants that to be known, but hey, it's speculation, I guess, in the end. But I believe that is I. So.
Could be.
Yeah, could, but we'll never know. It doesn't actually say Zai next to his name, so.
No, it says YOLO Ludwig, though.
Sounds like something that Zai would do, to be honest. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Speaking of these pauses here, what did your team ever pause for strategy purpose, or was it always rest room?
I would say maybe at the beginning of the game if no one was sure what lanes were going on, but in the middle of the game, no.
Okay. So at the beginning, just in case to.
Yeah, if we had like if someone was like AFK during the picks, or we just kind of pick something crazy or something we weren't accustomed to, someone might just call up a pause and be like, "Whoa, what are we doing here?"
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, always wonder, man. Seems like we have at least one of those every game at the beginning.
Yeah. Usually, I think if we paused, it was like sound doesn't work, Skype's weird. One time I sounded like the guy from Saw in Skype for the whole game, but couldn't fix it.
Right on.
I think they were more amused than annoyed.
Yeah, that wasn't actually an impersonation. That was just the Skype screwing up. Couldn't really do a Saw voice.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, look at this Aluna. What the hell is this Aluna doing? Jeez. Freaking backflips and throwing the stick around.
Oh, this is the new Luna skin?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Conquistador, according to Panman.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. That would make sense. Anywho. All right, so you see, speaking of her and Torturer, they're both roaming towards the middle actually right away. Uh-oh.
And they even have their own Ward of Sight placed where normally the Hellborn would. So let's see if they can make anything happen here.
Uh-oh. Pebbles not in the best position. There's a Magnus stun. Aluna's running with a power throw. Torturer takes the Zeal stun, though, and that's going to buy enough time for Pebbles, it looks like. See Torturer coming over, but yeah, not going to happen. So, well played by Tilla right there. Making sure to stun the appropriate hero in that case.
That definitely was the target of choice, and I think maybe Torture should have been the one coming first even. I mean, may not necessarily stop and then stun, but even with the stun, I don't know if he wouldn't be able to follow up, so.
Yeah. Would have been close. So how about these lanes, though? I mean, so look at what we're seeing from DCX. You got Plague Rider Draconis, long lane. The dragon is Plague Rider a dragon? I guess so. Yeah, I guess it
Kinda is, yeah.
I never
Cross
really thought
dragon.
about that, but yeah. So the dragon lane bottom. You have Nymphora Pebbles mid. Nothing wrong there. And then Lowstone actually playing the short lane top. But well, what do you think was the decision behind Plague Rider Draconis bottom?
I don't know. To me, Lodestone being bottom would offer a lot more security in their lane. You know, he does have that escape mechanism. Draconis, you can kind of argue his Blazing Flight is one. He does get a ton of movement speed and can run away, but maybe they're confident that just the Plague Rider deny is enough.
Yeah. I guess
so.
so.
Keep them safe down here.
Well, you do see transitions being made actually by Raging Balls over here. We had Wretched Hack actually port to the top lane, and Rally, I'm guessing, is, he buys a TP, and he's going to go to the bottom lane. So they're going to adjust themselves, and this should definitely open up the door for good farm for Dracon. I mean, granted, now with Rally down here, I guess there is more of a kill threat from the Legion side if you get that roaming Torture and Aluna even, but the lane seems like it's being pushed back in Draconis' favor quite a bit so far, and obviously a lot of that has to do with the Plague Rider deny.
Yeah, whenever I've looked down here, it seems like they're always next to their tower, and yeah, Rally's definitely not going to get much done here. Playing against a Plague Rider support is quite a hassle as a suicide. So, don't expect him to get much. I mean, I would expect Hag to win top lane, but it feels like Lodestone kind of got a better start than Hag did bottom. So maybe it'll be easier for him as well. Looks like did he buy something? He's already got his bottle, I think. Yeah, he's already got the bottle and the health potion. plenty of region for him. So I expect him to do quite well up here, and just kind of keep an eye on these Legion supports because they are probably the key focus for the Legion team right now at this stage in the game. They need to make stuff happen right now because as it is, it seems like everyone is farming on the Hellborn side.
Yeah. Yeah, the overall goal looking pretty good right now for Justice League. Obviously, we're only 3.5 minutes in, so can't look into it too much, but yeah, Pebbles, Book, it seems like he is having a pretty solid start, to say the least, 14-7. You know, Nymph4, a teammate, obviously with that Zeal stun, not the most guaranteed compared to other supports, but still, you get the Stalagmites out like right there. Zeal stun, it's not going to be happening. Instead of just giving the mana, and actually there goes the Zeal stun on top of the Chuck. That was actually kind of an awkward combination right there. Magnus actually got chucked away, so the coordination not necessarily the best right there. But nonetheless, some harassment comes out, and we'll go back to farming, and you see sharing the bottle, going to give it to Nymphora, and he's going to head top lane. Going to battle a Luna for it, it looks like. It is a regen rune. Nymphora going, the Zeal Senate will connect on both sides, and Nymphora will pick it up, and actually, on the Luna's in a little bit of trouble right here. Magnus with the line stun, though. It'll stop for now. The uphill, Nymphora losing vision right there. She does not have another Zeal stun coming up. Luna will survive, so no Bloodlust kill just yet. They're going to stun Magnus, but he, too, should be fine at the end, so very close to Bloodlust. But nothing happens in the end in terms of kills, at least.
Yeah, very close. Pretty risky buy a Luna, but gonna go ahead and buy a health potion from the convenient observatory and continue in this mid lane. I've never really been a fan of Magnus middle. I feel like the amount of damage he does is just so inferior to quite a few of these melee heroes, not to mention Pebbles, of course, which he is up against. So the kill potential with Magnus, I always have felt is really low unless someone's really out of position or some crazy rune or jungler. But initiation in the middle lane here as well. There's the Zeal Stun. This is a nice toss from Pebbles, actually hitting Magnus despite the creep. Oh, but Magnus will get away with almost 50 health. So there's the, even with Nymphora, which like I said, is definitely a weak laning hero. The combination with Pebbles is just a ton of damage.
Yeah, it is, and it's despite not getting kills, I mean, in the end, it is making Magnus, use those bottle charges and actually. Does he have a bottle, by the way? I thought he did. Okay, never mind. I guess so even using the health potion to heal back up right there, but doesn't even have his bottle just yet. So obviously, really showing how this mysterious YOLO Ludwig here is doing on the Magnus in the middle.
I don't think it's Zai. I think it's just Ludwig. His name's Ludwig too, and he's also YOLO.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so it's not Zai, maybe.
I just thought that was funny. His name was Ludwig, and so was Zai's, and his name is YOLO. I just thought it was a good name. YOLO Ludwig.
That's true. Detective Riser over here. Figuring things out. I don't know. Magnus is going to actually stack the yellow camp right here, so can use that for later on. Ooh, bottom lane, Rowley is taking a lot of pressure. There goes the Dragon Flame. A couple more auto attacks. No. The final auto attack needed. Not able to get off, and Rowley will be able to survive. And again, we're over 6 minutes now. Still no Bloodlust kill. Not that there's been lack of attempts here, but more so on the side of the Hellborn team. DCX has definitely gotten many attempts, but not able to come through. But still, even without the Bloodlust kills, obviously they're having a pretty good time at the top. And right as I say that, Lowstone going in, but Wretched Hat going to easily be able to blink away. He was hoping to hit that rocket drill, but without hitting it, not able to come through. So obviously that's Lowstone for you. You got to take those chances, sure, but not able to connect this time. Magnus, in the meantime, stunning away right there. Maybe fine. So many chances, man, but not able to come through as far as getting kills.
Yeah, nice job by Keep Chilling. You definitely always have to be aware of that. But then the bottom lane there is going to be your Bloodlust kill.
Wow, how about that?
The impalement from Torture finishing off Plague Rider. So a much needed kill for the Legion team. The support's finally playing a factor in this game. And because as it is now, it seems like almost none of their core heroes are farming. Hack has recovered pretty nicely top, actually, as I say that. He's doing quite well for himself, but seems like no one else was really getting a whole lot. Draconis will be caught out here. He does have those steam boots, so he's very tanky. Maybe even turn it around on Torture here. One more attack would do it, but no.
This is it. Greeps Warlock!
Oh my gosh.
Three
life. 3 health, so yeah, good job by the supports finally from okay,
oh,
what
no.
kills happening?
The dragon is mighty, apparently, just taking them out left and right. He is going to fall back before Magnus can get in there. Now actually Rally's in a little bit of trouble. Magnus going to stun in first, though the auto attack's not enough to finish off Rally. Plague Rider is chasing with that movement speed, but he's not going to be able to get close enough in the end. Magma's hiding in that steam bath. He does not have mana for a stun. He doesn't have mana battery, though, and actually is going to go in right there. Can he get the support in time? Magma's in a lot of trouble. The power throw connects, but it's still not enough damage. 39 life on the dragon, and Draconis will survive. Very, very close there at the bottom lane in both sides, but DCX coming out on top in the end. Well, I mean, you're giving credit to the support and everything down here, understandably, with that Bloodlust kill, but it didn't get much better after that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to how just nothing happened for them up until now. And look how farm Draconis. God, you got those Steam Boots and the Mystic Vestments definitely playing a huge role in that engagement bottom. It's the reason he lived for so long and, you know, took on 3 heroes, it seemed like. So, just nothing really got done early enough, I feel like, by these 2 supports. And the lanes, unfortunately, did not go their way.
Yeah. So here we are, about a 3,000 gold lead already in favor of Justice League, as well as the experience lead. So you see our Legion team going to go ahead and vote to pause. Perhaps a strat pause, perhaps not. But they are finding themselves in a deficit. You made the point earlier that it's just really across the board right now. It's not looking good, honestly, for our Legion team. Wretched Hag, despite her recovering somewhat, she's still only farming about 230 gold per minute. And obviously that isn't even the greatest. So this is a team that's definitely built around getting off an early start. And unfortunately, it is not happening right now. So, Riser, by the way, did you guys end up playing yesterday?
No, we, unfortunately, somebody couldn't make it, so we ended up forfeiting, so we're out.
Ah, boy.
Yeah,
well, that sucks. That sucks. Well, so I guess you guys aren't in the qualifiers, so at this point, really just waiting for Cycle 1 to start.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, for people that are wondering about Team USA, I have it on pretty good authority that they are still interested in playing Heroes of New Earth. They're not making a switch to whatever other game they want. So I talked to them quite a bit, and while at the moment they're enjoying their time off, if you want to call it, from Han, because there is, waiting for Han Tour, I suppose, like you said. They definitely are. Still interested in Han, especially Han Tour. Everything is going to be fine, so don't worry, guys.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's a good reassurance coming out right there, so at least definitely looking forward to that. But so yeah, speaking of that too, the qualifiers, obviously, so you guys not going to be playing in the qualifiers, but maybe you could help out some more during the qualifiers as far as casting is concerned, so at least it can open up the door for that, so
sure.
We'll see if that comes along, but again, that starts this weekend, man. So it's only 2 days away. It's still so weird saying that, but Han Tour Season 2 officially starts 2 days from now. And actually, the signups have obviously closed by now, but it was we actually ended up getting a lot of teams, even more than I honestly expected. I think the final number was something over like around 320 teams or something like that signed up for the qualifiers. So that was definitely really good to hear, and excited to obviously get things started on Saturday with our coverage. So.
Yeah, when I looked at the Han Tour page, there's like this huge list of teams that had signed up. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of teams.
So, and a lot of teams,
I can definitely
yeah, go ahead.
See where you're coming from, yeah.
Yeah. It's teams that we don't know much about as well, so it's going to be fun, especially early on in the qualifiers, and even all the way through. I mean, obviously with the top 8 teams getting invited, including Team USA, it's going to be fun to see, who these up-and-coming teams are now. A lot of action at the bottom lane. Both stuns missed off the bat, though. Not the best start for DCX. Down goes Raleigh right there. You see them bounce up. Oh, the Plague, it's going to start bouncing back and forth. Only one bounce, really, but it's going to be enough to set up a kill and a torture right there. We see Aluna trying to run away now. Lodestone is chasing. He does have the rocket drill coming up in 6 seconds, but not going to be able to pursue long enough. Still, you got nobody but yourself to blame, honestly, if you're Raging Balls right there. They just missed their first couple of stuns, and, DCX
Yeah, it looked a little
capitalized.
desperate, to be honest, that initiation by Rally. It just, right next to the Tier 1 tower, unfortunately did not even land as well, so they know that they're really far behind. They're trying to make something happen, but perhaps that was even a little too YOLO. I don't think even Ludwig would approve.
Perhaps not. Hey, when it's in your name, you always got to, though, so it's his decision. Wretched Hag going in right here. Batplus, it actually hits both heroes, but again, the idea that they're desperate to try to make something happen really didn't have much follow-up there. And in the end, not able to come through with any kills. The Sonar Scream, I don't even think connected as well. So, no kill's going to happen. It will send Draconis and Plague back to base at least, so at least going to open up the lane a little bit. And Wretched Hag can continue to recover, really, but 11 minutes in, and again, especially with this only being a one-game series, I really hate to say it, but I don't know if our Legion team over here is going to be able to hang on much longer. I mean, they're going to need to pull out something. This is not going to be good to start with that. Lozo jumped in right here. Can he get the compel off? Yes, he can. It does the damage still, but Rally will be fine. So Rally at least able to tank the Lodestone combo there. That's good for him.
Yeah, I think the head smash was a little early. It wasn't after the Shatterstorm, but I think he had to do it before the compel got off. So, little unfortunate there for Zane playing that Lodestone, but not the biggest of deal. Payfair is going to get caught here in the bottom lane. There's the stun from Torture and Luna, but Luna gets annihilated by the level 8 Draconis. He's even chasing the level 3 Torture right now, and will he be able to catch him? He has the Dragon Flame up in 1 second. Oh my god.
Ouch.
And this bottom lane is just getting absolutely crushed.
Double tap for Imba Boy. The last hero you ultimately want to be given that to. Yeah, not looking good once again. So I want to get you some thoughts from you. Well, Pebbles is like, I'm going to kill somebody in the process, but Rally, speaking of Rally, just died right there. Do you think Rally needs nerfs? Do you think he needs changes?
Well, Rally's a bit of a dilemma because everyone agrees that Rally is probably overpowered, but the most overpowered thing about him is his compel, but if you were to change his compel or rework it completely,
yeah,
the whole idea of the hero is just completely nullified. It's not... I mean, sure, people can be annoyed enough by saying, let's just take compel out of the game, but if you think about it from like a developer logical standpoint, they can't just remove that from the hero. It's like the whole hero, so...
yeah.
If Rally was to be changed, it would probably be something else. I mean, his battle experience is definitely a very powerful tool in the laning phase. On top of that compel, just allows him to win his lane with the extra damage. Just the auto attacks are so much more powerful. So, you know, that's probably the best option or the most logical option to changing Rally and trying to nerf him.
Have you seen the patch notes by chance?
Did they release him today or something?
No. I'm just curious. I don't know if you've
No.
been told them or anything like that. Okay. Well, let's just say, and we did get an anonymous tip on our podcast last week that Rally is receiving changes in this upcoming patch, so you can look forward to that. Look forward to those changes happening. But you are right. I mean, that's a great point to bring up with the compel. That's really the hero. So the idea of changing that, it would just take away from the whole concept. So it's going to be interesting to see what is changed. But that amongst several balance changes are going to be happening tomorrow. So going to be fun with that. And
yeah, definitely. I like the reworking of the heroes the most. That's what I'm most interested to see is what you guys came up with almost. Just
well, did you see the Salamon video?
The one that showcased all his skills, like the animations and stuff. Yeah, it looked really cool. Especially like this ult when he changes into like a zombie. That was pretty cool.
A zombie? What the hell? I don't think that's supposed to be a zombie.
Isn't he?
I don't think so.
He looked crazy. So
he turns into some crazy battle.
It looked pretty cool though. It looked like it had like a timer above his head, like how long it lasted. So
I'll have to wait and see.
I think it'll be cool. I kind of liked Solomon.
I never played him personally.
I think I liked playing him just because he was so good though.
Yeah.
Could have been the reason because he was so hard to kill in the lane. And then...
So I mean, are you kind of depressed that he is taken away in a sense because he is different now? So
I mean, I occasionally picked him. If they changed a hero that like was my favorite hero, I might be a little sad. Like if they changed Keeper of the Forest.
Keeper of the Forest, yeah. Your favorite hero right there.
If they gave him like a stun or something, I'd be just devastated.
That sounds like it, man. I'm gonna make sure Doc Geyser never does that.
Great.
Just for you. You see vulnerability coming at the bottom. Like we haven't even been talking about this match, but obviously as we just approach just past the 15-minute mark now, Justice League is continuing their triumph here in this first and only game against Raging Balls, also known as Ascension. But Raging Balls is just a lot more fun to say. Magma's trying to find an opportunity here, so this is it for our Legion side. I mean, they need to have something come together, you know, get the ultimates connected. Seismic Slam, the Bat Blast, the Eruption. Then maybe there's a chance. And Pebble says, I'm not even going to give you the chance. He gets compelled away. Going to be fine for now, but the Plague, you're doing too much damage. Loza goes in. The Shatterstorm, boom, goes a Dynamite a little early. I guess not yet. Anyways, it will kill the Luna. And she falls quickly. Seismic Slam attempted as he gets chucked back in. I think it's over right here.
Yeah, they don't have anything. They don't have any items. No way they can fight.
There you go.
Rally's got boots. Poor guy. So
yeah,
that'll do it.
Wasn't to be.
Wasn't quite the match we'd hoped for, but
yeah.
some interesting
Yeah.
picks. I would have liked to see the support Lodestone, but this obviously worked just fine for them.
The Plague Rider Draconis long lane just worked fine.
Yeah.
Coming out for DCX. So I will say this much about DCX. This is also a team, kind of like Lions, where they are doing a lot. I mean, they're scrimmaging a lot, they're working a lot as far as their strategies are concerned, and they are also going to be a team going into the Hunter Season 2 that is, they're going to be one to watch for sure, and have a good chance. So
Yeah, I mean, they're undeterred. I mean, you saw Alliance, they didn't qualify for DreamHack. That must have been a huge blow to them, but they're just, undeterred. I think they're having a lot of fun just playing at a high level, and, I think their progress is also very tangible. They can tell that they've come a very long way. So the fact that and just having fun just is a great combination for an upcoming team.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun to see DCX again, how they do. Also, this Ascension team, it's also a case of, again, this match clearly outmatched against Justice League, but hope that they stick around and see what they can do come on to Season 2 especially. But as far as this tournament is concerned, so where this puts things now for the Alienware Challenge, that's actually, let me pull up the bracket. They close it, I believe. So this was I don't even know if I mentioned, but this was a winner's bracket semifinals matchup. So obviously with this victory here, Justice League advancing on to the winners finals. They play the winner of Lions versus Metamorphosis. Obviously Lions definitely the favorite there, but Metamorphosis, I don't know really much about them, so can't really say too much, but it's setting up to be a great finish to this tournament, that's for sure. You got two teams right there looking really good, and I believe Internet Gangsters is also still in this tournament. They are in the losers bracket as well as Team Excellent, so there's definitely still several top-tier teams in this Alienware EU challenge, at least.
Yeah, I was going to say the EU one looks pretty good. The American one, not so much.
It's it's struggling a little bit. There's Absolute Legends. I know actually they're in it. So
yeah, 007 Absolute Legends.
Yep, them Ultimate Legends as well. Ultimate Legends. I believe that's actually Creams and a couple others. It's actually
Ultimate Legends.
Yeah, it's a
funny.
Little bit of a take on Absolute Legends, perhaps, but. No, but so yeah, both these brackets, especially near the end, and that actually brings up a point that next week it's going to start getting really fun for this event specifically. But I know, both yesterday we actually had some pretty entertaining matches, although it was fairly short. But today, again, it's going to end up being a pretty short cast, unfortunately, because of only the one match that we had here. But don't let that deter you, man. I mean, tomorrow, really, with the podcast, we're going to have a podcast tomorrow. And then Saturday with the qualifiers is where it kicks off. The Han Tour qualifiers kick off this Saturday. And then every single weekend, and then a lot even during the week as well, during the Han Tour season, there's going to be matches here on Honcast.com. So there's going to be a lot of content starting this weekend, basically, and going on for the longest time. So it's going to be the beginning of quite the grind, but I must say I'm looking forward to getting back into that transition again and having a lot of fun with that. And like I said, for you, Riser, I mean, obviously you're not going to be playing now for a little bit coming until Han Tour Cycle 1, so obviously if you're still willing to help out, then be more than glad to have your assistance. So
sure.
Speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and ask you live here. Tomorrow we do have that podcast actually at 12 o'clock. Okay, so for the podcast tomorrow, it's actually going to be more of a balanced talk podcast. It's actually we're going to be joined by Dog Kaiser and Riser. If you actually wanted to join us for that, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Sure, yeah.
To have some pro insight on there, and you could tell Dog Kaiser if you hate something.
I'll have to cancel my important business meeting, but otherwise I'll be available.
Well, we do appreciate you making time. For the podcast, so that's good to hear. Good to hear. So again, so with that said, guys, tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern, I believe that should be quick math, 1800 Central European Time. Yes, 1800 Central European Time. We're going to be doing a podcast with Dog Kaiser and Riser. It sounds like going to be joining us. Three of us. We're going to talk about tomorrow's patch, and there's definitely a bit of changes coming out tomorrow. I mean, some of them have already been kind of hinted at with dev blogs and whatnot. We talked obviously about Salomon a little bit here. The idea that Rally is going to be taking some changes. So there's going to be a lot of good changes, and we'll have Dog Kaiser on to explain the reasoning behind them, and also, take some questions perhaps from the community as far as ones that you guys have. So definitely tomorrow, it's going to be a lot of fun. I definitely recommend checking it out if you are any bit interested in both competitive or even casual, just a balance in general. And then Saturday, again, we kick things off with our Han Tour qualifier coverage, where Beef is actually going to be flying into the studio here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And he's going to be joining myself. We're going to be doing some casting together for a week. both the Hunter qualifiers and then the Alienware tournament continuing next week as well. We're going to have content basically every day this coming week. I think Friday's the only day where we don't have anything planned necessarily. But every single day other than that, there's going to be some kind of content here on Honcast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Riser, I thank you once again. Any final words you have for today?
A couple of things. If you guys are really desperate to watch Han, there's plenty of people streaming scrims and tons of teams scrimming right now. I see SG, TMSR, and IG. I believe they're all scrimming. So there are, just some players even that will stream scrims from time to time. So if you guys are interested, definitely check that out. And I'd like to give a shout out to, you're just talking about Beef, but I'd like to give a shout out to Beef. Just a fantastic guy. Loved hanging out with him in Vegas. Just, I don't know if I could met anyone nicer and more hardworking for the Han scene. Definitely done a lot that people may not be aware of, and also helped me a little with my casting. Helped let me practice with him a little. Gave me some tips and helped me set with my setup a little. So shout out to Beef. I meant to give him one yesterday, but I kind of stumbled over myself with the shout out. So I just wanted to make sure today that he receives his due payment.
Right on, right on. I'm sure he will appreciate it. It's actually, speaking of him, I got the chance to, I ended up watching that whole video, man. I think it was like 50 minutes, the complexity video, when you guys were at the Vegas, the Hunt Tour Grand Finals. Was that, did you even watch through it yourself? And, I mean, you were a star of it, so I assume.
Yeah, I watched some of it. I can't say I watched all of it.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Only the parts that you were in, specifically.
But the parts that,
Okay.
I was just sitting there in Skype with my friends, and they were sitting there making fun of me, so I turned it off. But, yeah, it was great. Just all the footage he got was fantastic. And then just the intro and stuff that I definitely watched were really cool. So shout out to him for that as well.
Yeah, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, there's actually, it's on Honcast.com. It's the third article down now. Cole Haan in Vegas, a look back is what it's called. Anyways, it's a YouTube video that Complexity Beef gathered all this footage while we were in Vegas. And they had a guy, I'm blanking on his name right now, with the guy that actually made the video. I don't know if you know it off your top of your head, but
can't think of it.
Yeah, anyways, he works for Complexity, and he put this video together. It honestly was very well done. It does a great job of showing behind the scenes at that event especially, and what it was like for being a player, behind the scenes, and how much fun you guys ultimately had. And the video, no doubt, really expresses that. And it's definitely a watch for those that haven't heard about it yet, and are looking just for some fun Han content.